Brian O'Neill's status doesn't look good. What's up, Vikings Nation? Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate. I'm your host, Trey Wicks. Now, we are in a different location right now. We're actually down in the old Tennessee, and I'm pumped about it. But we got to get at the matter of hand. Brian O'Neill. Okay, Brian O'Neill suffered a injury this past weekend. It was actually a calf injury, and it was a pretty significant one, if I might say so myself. So Christopher Gates, per the Vikings Wire, kind of dove through the situation and what to expect going forward with Brian O'Neill. Does he play this weekend, or do we hold off for this weekend's matchup against the Chicago Bears? So let's see what he has to say. So he basically starts off by saying, we've got an update on the calf injury suffered by Minnesota Vikings right tackle Brian O'Neill on Sunday. And, well, the news is not great, all right, to say the least. This is a tweet from Kevin Seifert. It says, right tackle Brian O'Neill's calf injury is pretty significant. Coach O'Connell said today, no firm timetable to return yet on what is going to happen. He says head coach Kevin O'Connell informed reporters this afternoon that O'Neill's injury is pretty significant, and he will be out for this Sunday's game in Chicago, and likely longer than that, which does not bode well for our Minnesota Vikings, who have most recently been more banged up the last couple of weeks at the offensive line position. So I'm actually hearing some talks of maybe potentially bringing in a couple other extra guys. You could look at Andrew Whitworth. That is not going to happen. Okay, I've seen those rumors. But there's obviously, J.C. Treader. He announced his retirement earlier this offseason. Maybe he's a possibility to bring in at center because Austin Schlottman's hurt and stuff like that. But there is that possibility we bring in some extra firepower to make that depth, or at least help our offensive line for the next week or two, or maybe even three. And so he said he's currently seeing doctors at the Vikings facility. We'll see what happens with Brian O'Neill's status as it goes on. Now, also, he says O'Neill suffered the injury in the first quarter of Sunday's game and wound up getting taken to the locker room on a cart. Now, since taking over that starting job at right tackle early in 2018 season, O'Neill has developed into one of the best at his position in the NFL, missing only a couple of games. Now, following the injury, O'Neill was replaced by Oli Udoh. Udoh, for what it's worth, was the highest graded lineman for the Vikings on Sunday by Pro Football Focus, and it wasn't really that hard to do because we stunk it up in Lambeau Field, all right? It's probably not worth much, but hey, it's something, I suppose. Now, couple this with the injury to Austin Schlottman that will sideline him for a while, and Garrett Bradbury's ongoing back problems, and the Vikings suddenly have some significant issues on the offensive line. They could get Blake Brandel back in time for the wild card weekend, or at least he'd be eligible to come off IR at that point. But there hasn't been any real word on his progress in returning from his knee injury. So it doesn't bode well. It doesn't sound well for Brian O'Neill. Seems like he's definitely not playing this Sunday. He might not even play week 1 or wild card weekend in the playoffs. There's a potential possibility he might not even play round 2 if we get it that far. So hopefully he heals and gets better. As for our center, Austin Schlottman, Garrett Bradbury, hopefully Bradbury's back for the wild card weekend. I don't think he's going to be here this Sunday. I think he kind of let him rest. Let's send him into the playoffs so he's at least closer to 100% healthy than he might be. But Brian O'Neill, going to miss some time apparently. Could be 1 week, could be 2, maybe even 3 or longer. You never know. So let me know in the comments what you think about this injury. Also drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 900 subs by January 8th. That's this Sunday. So make sure to hit that subscribe. Anyway, folks, have a great rest of your day, and SKOL Vikes.